enough? What am I searching for, right? The freedom is very intimately tied to that. This theme of self-image and understanding who we are, we have this word in our culture that I don't like. Not because it's a bad word. I have no problem with the word. The problem I have is with all the connotations that have been heaped on it with culture. That's humility. We're all supposed to be striving for humility. We're all supposed to be running as far as we can from selfishness, right? Or arrogance, or any of those things. Typically, I think in our culture, those are the connotations. And yet, humility, true humility, is knowing ourselves. Not putting ourselves above, not putting ourselves below anybody else, but seeing ourselves for who we are. I'm going to challenge you right now. Just keep this in the back of your head. It'll come up at different times throughout the year. I'm going to challenge you to err on the side of seeing yourself having value. So there's another word in our culture that is scary, arrogant, right? I'm so scared of like going overboard on the continuum, going on this end of the continuum, and yet nobody who is confident, nobody who knows themselves is arrogant. Nobody. The people who are arrogant and who come across arrogant are those who are struggling most internally with who they are. The people, I think about people in the media or whatever, I hear stories about people and go, they're struggling with themselves. It's not, arrogance doesn't come from self-confidence. So the more self-confident you become, this is what I'm trying to say, the more self-confident you become, there's zero danger. You are taking away more and more risk of becoming arrogant. Arrogance has nothing to do with self-confidence. So get to know who you are this year. Not more or less than you are. You don't have to put up a front or grovel in front of people. We don't have to apologize for everything, like good Canadians do, right? We can just be. And that's okay. Self-image is something we're going to hit on a lot this year, my hope is.
Where does this come from? TIR?
Yeah, that's going to be a Bob Proctor thing.
It isn't a TIR, isn't it?
Well, it'll be a supplement probably in what we're doing. Yeah. So there's a self-confidence formula that Bob puts out. It's also in Think and Grow Rich, if you're familiar with that book, and if not, you'll be familiar by the end of this year, because it's an important text. But yeah, self-image is something we're going to tackle. Andrew, I want you to keep me accountable for something. And that is that if we're halfway through the year, if we're about 6-7 months through the year, and I haven't covered, in your opinion, self-image enough, I want you to challenge me on that, okay? Because it's going to be coming, and I have ideas and plans, and some of it's going to come at the end of the year too, but it should be sprinkled throughout. Challenge me on that if you don't think you're getting enough, okay? Because it's an important topic for everyone.
Psychocybernetics.
Yeah.
One of the books I've read over the last 6 months or so is Psychocybernetics. Has anybody else read that book? If you haven't, I would highly recommend it. It's from like 1960 something by Maxwell Maltz, and it's all on self-image and how it kind of got twisted and how to untwist it, and it is awesome. It's so good. Like it's up, in my opinion, it's up there with like Think and Grow Rich or As a Man Thinketh or any, like some of the really, like it is so good on self-image and how to cultivate it and to develop it.
Yeah, I agree. I think in some ways it's even above those other books because of how fundamental it is in every area of life. Yeah. And we're going to, and that's why, because I'm going to be touching, Psychocybernetics is one of my Bibles in my life, where I just go back to over and over and over. I've read it many times, I've got it on Audible, I listen to it all the time, and I'm constantly coming back to it because it's all about self-image. It's a great book. And I'm going to be sprinkling that into everything. I'm not saying don't buy it, but yeah, we'll be covering different areas as well. Yeah. Paul.
Well,
All the above. It's already been covered. Plus, I have to learn to delegate, micromanage less, distance myself, trust subordinates, select subordinates. It used to be just a question of my objectives and trying to be capitalist. I mean, that's, ultimately you're supposed to leverage other people's labor. But this month I found myself on my birthday staring up at the ceiling in the emergency ward with a minor stroke. And now I'm questioning my ability to do some of this stuff. Like there might be some cognitive impairments. And so if my business is going to be worth anything without me, I have to recruit, train, and get in place people to actually do the hands-on of my business. Everything else that has been brought up around the room, I can't think of anything that doesn't apply to me as well. I think that echo what Charlotte has to say with respect to the value of this group. Yeah, I think everyone else has articulated all the points. My list was growing as I was listening. Each person around the room here, it's like, yeah, I guess, that too.
It's like I get the picture of, when you ever watch like the Olympics, especially the Winter Olympics, because it has, I think, more events like this, like downhill skiing or bobsledding or something. You've got like a structure of 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden another person comes down and they become number 2, and everyone gets bumped down. I kind of have that picture as you're going like, oh no, that one's really important. Well, that's another one.
I had 4 bullets when I started. Now I'm at 4.5 pages.
Yeah, brilliant. So what was the experience? Like, this is a very different, in my opinion, I might be wrong if you disagree with me, and I'm open to being challenged all the time, by the way. I love that, actually. What was that experience like? Because it's a very different experience than typically, this is my name, this is where I'm from. What was that like for people?
Anxiety.
Anxiety for
It
people?
was like, well, like I said, I was stuck to get started.
Yeah.
Darwin?
I felt it was more meaningful, more from us as a person than just sharing your name.
I find it reassuring that we all have very similar, or at least kind of themes that are running through a lot of us here. That, like you mentioned, that oftentimes, feel like, well, how come I'm the only person trying to figure this out? But it's not the case. There's lots of other people that are trying to figure it out too.
Why is everyone else successful and it's just me, right?
That's a great question. How come everybody else is dialed in? I'm shitting the bed over here trying to do this.
Yeah. What else?
But I think it's going to be that we're coming in thinking one thing, but we're going to end up walking out with something that we didn't even think of.
Yeah. That's my hope.
That's a guarantee.
Like we're going to, like what we're thinking is our biggest problems or whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to change.
I like what Brad said, it's reassuring. We're not just the only one, we're not the Lone Ranger in this, everybody's the same, but now we've come to a smaller, more intimate group, and we can share more things more openly with people, so that's going to be very beneficial.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll share what I've been anxious about this weekend. I'm very anxious about how this all comes out because I want to make sure that we deliver on whatever it is we promise. The challenge is, what have we promised? And I never. That was just a suggestion.
Four and a half pages.
No, we all win. But Andrew said something very interesting there, and it's so true, is that, you know, you come in with one expectation, but you're gonna leave with something totally different, and I can guarantee that. And that's something I've learned time and time again. I go in with a certain expectation of whatever it is I'm attending, and I come up with something totally different. And one of the very first groups that I attended similar to this, and Joseph attended one the year before myself, and that's when and how I learned or met Dave DeBolt and became very good friends. Was I went in with a very clear purpose and intent, and I came out with something you couldn't get any more different direction than what I went in with the intention. But I have no regrets. And every time I go to an event now, I go in with a very open mind, knowing that I'm going to come out with something I didn't expect, and just move forward with that. And it can be as simple as just having a brand new friendship, because you never know where the relationships in this room are going to go. And I know they're going to go places. You know, it's anxious because I want to deliver. I want everybody. That's the satisfier in me, and the giver. I want everybody to leave 100% satisfied. So it's just, and until everybody leaves and, you know, they're happy and whatnot, I just have to trust that, you know, you'll get that, and I know you will get that, because you're in excellent hands here with Mark.
So you want to hear one of my, and I'm just writing this down right now, one of my secret agendas? It's not very secret when I give it to you off the bat, right? One of my secret agendas for this year. So I'm going to give it to you in the frou-frou way that is talked about in our culture, and then I'll talk about what it means to me and how I see it. So the way that our culture would kind of laugh at it is, I want you guys to fall in love with yourselves. The way that I see that is when a person gets to know themselves, this is really normal, okay? So I believe I'm going to be speaking directly to each one of you right now, okay? It is absolutely normal to believe that if you actually look at yourself deeply, you're scared what you'll find. And so you don't go there. Because if you actually get to know yourself, you'll finally know for sure all the fears that you think you might be. You're inadequate, and you won't measure up, and you're going to struggle for the rest of your life. There's something wrong with you, fundamentally, that won't be changed for your life. That's what everyone's scared of. And the brilliant process of getting to know yourself is that we all, and I believe this to the core of my being, every one of us has so much to offer other people in our community. We have so much inherent value, and we have so much potential, and it's different for everyone, and yet there are similarities in everyone. That when you get to know yourself, when you let down that barrier and actually get to know yourself, the process will kind of look like this, of like, okay, I'm going to take the leap, I'm going to know myself in this one way, and this was part of the process, was today, okay, self-awareness. And then you go, oh, that wasn't so bad. And you do it a few more times, you go, wait a second, I'm starting to understand there's a reason why I do these things. There's a reason why this is the way I live. There's a reason why these patterns exist in me. And then you move a little bit forward and explore a little bit more of yourself, and you go, and wait a second, there are some really cool things about me. As I interact with others gain value from me in really unique ways. I have something to offer. And eventually you come to the point where you're like, I'm freaking awesome. I really am. And that's not said with arrogance, but I'm incredible. And it doesn't take away from anyone else. It doesn't devalue anyone else. It's something that I can provide to somebody, and the more I get out there, the more value is brought to people because I'm incredible. I'm awesome. That's a process that I want to see in each one of you. Because it's legitimate, and I've seen it hundreds of times in the people I've worked with. That over a course of a period of time, they realize, wait a second, when I look at myself, I don't have to be afraid. It's actually an enjoyable experience once I get past the fear, once I get past all those other things. And I'm excited about that journey. Was there anything else that anyone had as they went through the process? A couple points I want to touch on. One is, this isn't directed towards you, Joseph, okay? You're the one with the laptop open, that's why I'm saying that. So this isn't directed towards you at all. This is for everyone, just to think of. So this goes with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. I'm a fairly quick typer. I can type almost as fast as people speak. So when I'm taking notes, I can jot it all down and get it, okay? There's a detriment to using this. One of the reasons we gave you a journal with a pen is because when you actually write things down, you get far more out of anything that you're doing. Okay? So when I'm jotting notes, I'm fine with just jotting notes that I can review later. But I'm not internalizing those notes when I'm writing them down. You internalize things when you write physically, pen and paper. And so I want to encourage you this year to use this. I want you to fill this journal and buy another one this year before the year's out, okay? And I've got a few different ways you're going to be able to do that, but I want you to use it all and actually enjoy the experience. You know, all of us have connotations to writing in a journal. They might be on the positive side, they might be on the negative side. They might be thinking like, well, that's what like teenage girls do. Or it might be like, no, every time I wrote in school it was an exam and I hate writing. We all have these different connotations, all right? I want to switch that connotation if it's on the negative side for you and create a positive connotation to that and get value from this. So 2 things, in the power of writing or printing things out. I'm a printer. I don't write, I print. And I'm slow when I write. One value of writing things out is that it slows you down and your mind is able to engage in the process of what you're thinking about. So when I speak a sentence, it comes out and then I go, oh, wait a second, it came out that way and I wanted it to come out this way, and I was thinking one thing, and I want to add this, but it's done. And yet when you're writing out, this is my experience with writing. When I write things out slowly, I change things as I'm going along. My mind is so much more engaged. And that comes to the second point. The second point is that you activate, it's something like, I don't know the exact number, all right? So, I mean, you can hold me to this if you want, but I think it's something like 800 times more neurons are activated in your brain when you're writing versus listening. When you're writing pen and paper, 800 more times neuron, any times more. It's just an incredible number. So if you want to change how you're thinking and what's going on in that brain that we all have, then write it out, okay? Get into the habit of writing things out, especially when it's like contemplative, especially when it's an activity where you're like thinking about your own life or patterns or those kind of things. That's where I really encourage you to do that. So I have a journal. Where is my journal? It's sitting around here somewhere. Yeah, so this is a journal that I'm using right now. And I cracked it open last night for the first time, and started writing in it. And you can see, like, as I'm writing, I've got things crossed out, and I'm redoing certain things. I'm adding words to certain places because it's engaging in a different way, and it's a habit, a pattern, a routine that once you get and you enjoy, you won't want to get away from it again because it has so much value. The last thing I wanted to touch on is the term selfish. I think it was Joseph that said, I don't want to be selfish here, but one of my goals is for myself. That's not selfish. That's not selfish. So again, this is a term that in our culture we use in one way almost exclusively, and we shouldn't. It's got all these connotations to it. The reason I'm talking about it is, again, I think it applies to pretty much everyone. This is what I want you to be in this group. Remember I talked about 2 areas of growth. One is, self-awareness. The other is growing in how you bring value to others, and how you invest in others. Both of those reasons come to one ultimate thing, and that is you want to grow yourself. You want to have results in your own life. That's what we want. None of you came here and spent the money and are investing the time only to give to others. And if you're saying that to yourself, we need to have a talk, okay? Because when you only give to others, if that's your mindset, you will burn out, period. I don't know when it'll be, it's different for everyone. You will burn out. A secret to enjoying life and getting fully everything out of life is giving always with a little bit of expectation that you're going to get something out of it. Not always an expectation of what you're going to get out of it, but an expectation that you're going to get something out of it. Because if you go in with the expectation that you're not going to get anything out, then you just give and you get drained and you're done for periods of time. But when every time you give, you go, I'm going to give fully. Fully. It's a real gift. And I'm going to get something back. I don't know what that is. I've got an idea. If I've been through it lots of times, like I know what I'm going to get out of this. I've got a pretty good idea because I've done it so many times, okay? But you're going to get something out of this. That's not selfish. That's not selfish. That's investing in yourself.
That is so opposite of what I was just reading in a book, and it give, and don't expect anything in return.
Yeah. So where does that come from? Where does that idea come from, generally?
Feudalism.
Yeah, absolutely. Feudalism is there. What else? Even before feudalism.
Religion.
Yeah, there's religious concepts, deep religious concepts. Yeah, what else?
There's the belief for most people, we've been raised to believe that the rich people are selfish.
Mm-hmm.
They are not giving. Yet, and I can't remember where I heard this just recently, it's the complete opposite. It's the people who have the jobs living paycheck to paycheck, they're the selfish people because they're just looking to take care of themselves. Whereas the people who, ourselves included, we want more. And why do we want more? Because we want to be able to do more for others, not just ourselves. And the wealthy people, you know, the Bill Gates and so forth, I mean, they're the ones that give all of the back and support.
They're the ones eradicating malaria, right? Or at least attempting to.
But again, it's completely opposite from what we've been raised to believe.
Yeah. I think I shared this story in Calgary, how I've got this wealthy relative, and I went to him and said, listen, like as I get to know wealthy people, I'm finding that in my opinion, there's a higher percentage of good people among the wealthy. And that's the opposite of what I learned as a kid. And I said, shed some light on this, because he's doing deals with multimillionaires on a daily basis. He knows a lot of, and not just doing deals, he goes on trips, he knows people that are really, really wealthy. And he said to me, Mark, I absolutely agree. If you come to just the quality people with integrity, people who are giving to others, people who are just have it all together, who communicate well and care about others, there's a higher percentage of those people among the wealthy than among any other group. And I said, why is that then? Well, like I need to understand this. And he said, this is my belief. In order to make and then keep wealth and manage it properly over a long period of time, it's more difficult to do if you don't have all those things in place. There are some, and we've heard stories, they're prevalent in the media, all the bad people, right, that have wealth. But most of those stories are not wealthy people. Most of those stories are rich people who are making a lot every year, but actually don't have very much. CEOs. Really, if you think about it, the news that we hear most about the evil rich, it's not the truly wealthy. The truly wealthy are setting up foundations for people. They're doing all these other cool things in our culture. So yeah, that's something that I'd really like to explore this year, and it is money paradigms. And by the end of the year going, I want to be wealthy.
But that comes back to, there was a couple of people mentioned about friends and loneliness and whatnot as
Yeah.
well, and Joseph in particular,
Oh,
right?
great point.
Because, I mean, as you become wealthier, your mindset is changing, your beliefs are changing, your circle of friends are changing.
Yeah.
So it's not your friends who are changing. You know, so you can say, oh, my friends, you know, or whatever. No, it's you.
Mhm.
You're the one who's changing, hopefully for the better. But And you just don't have the tolerance or patience to be in and around that group. So what do they think? I mean, I know what some of my friends think of me, and I don't like what they say or think about me, and it's so far from the truth, but that's their scarcity and their mindset and their beliefs. And I can't let that affect me. But again, they're the ones with the problem. It's not me.
And that's not about, like, Ken doesn't, I'm trying to think about how that might come across in some ways. To me, I understand what he's saying. That's not to say that those people are less than you or anything.
No.
That's simply saying they don't get it right now, and we can only have a certain amount of impact on those people around us. And to invest all of ourselves in fixing them, you are going to
Be
beat
frustrated.
your head to a pulp, right? Extremely frustrated. Work on yourself. As you work on yourself, you will have a greater influence on your community. Yeah. If you want to change the world, work on yourself. Really. If you want to change the world, work on yourself. I believe that more and more every year.
So are we done for the weekend now? Or?
I didn't see that.
I know you never promised us a rose garden, eh?
No.
You're going to be ribbed about the whole thing.
We can turn the game on at 3. Right? Or
Okay.
yeah, we can go watch it somewhere else.
Boston Pizza.
But you wanted a skybox.
Yeah, I wanted the skybox.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what you're saying there, Ken, about the people in your life, and you mentioned Joseph, like friends and people that you associate with, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, because I knew we were going to be talking about cool stuff like this, and this is way more interesting and I think beneficial than talking about what happened on the news or who did something stupid, you know, that accident that happened that's just, and that's sort of where the conversations go with, you know, my in-laws come over or with people that I've like, it's just, and my tolerance for that is getting less and less now. Like I don't want to spend my time talking about that kind of stuff. I want to be talking about things that are going to make a difference to me and the people in my life. And that's why I see value in this too. Like that, getting together at times like this is fantastic, and getting together once a week that I know that I have those conversations to look forward to. So when I am sitting with people that are talking about car accidents or shootings, or it just, well, it's okay. It's only 2 more days until I get together and ask my I can make another whatever.
Well, and I can remember being told this way back that your friends are going to change, and it was so true. It has been so true, and you know, my friends are all across the country now. They're not the friends. I play hockey every week, and I loved the game of hockey. There's no more diverse a room than in a hockey, because you've got doctors, vets, and construction workers, everything, right? But it's all about hockey. And you play the game. And then they go and have a beer. No, I don't go and have a beer, because that's when everything just changes at that point in time, and I don't want to be at that level. So I distance myself from them in that respect. And they have no idea what I do for a living. It's just slowly starting to get out now. And I deliberately don't tell people what I do for a living, because they just don't get it. They don't understand it.
How do you respond when they ask?
Well, I'm a realtor.
Okay.
I'm just not a very good one. And actually, that's how it has gotten out. And I say that. Yeah, I say that. And she got 2 deals this year out of our dressing room because I say that. So it doesn't matter to
Your
me.
broker must be thrilled.
We've got the same manager, fortunately, so it all ends up in the same pot. But yeah, it is a totally different mindset, and yeah, our friends are all across the country, which leads me to, we've included, and it's not mandatory, but it's highly encouraged, the trip. And we'll be talking about that at some point in time over the weekend, okay? This is something I never got before, was going away with a group of strangers. Wow, how powerful is that though? in the end. I mean, that's where the true friendships really become solidified, when you're hanging out, having a Mai Tai or whatever it is you want to drink. And it's just, that's what's going to happen in the future moving forward for you. You're going to get together with your good friends once or twice a year. You talk to them more frequently, but you're going to connect with them once or twice a year. And, you know, Dave is a very, very good friend of mine. I probably won't see Dave, I don't know what the plans are to see Dave, but, you know, we'll probably see each other a couple times a year. Oh, that's not true, I'll see you next month. Don't worry about that. Okay, so he's coming here. But I mean, it's just, and we'll hang out and have a good time, and then we're apart again. So that's just the reality of what your life is going to be. It's going to be very different. You still I still have to tolerate, my in-laws. They're going to show up here, so my mother, you'll never find anybody more negative than my mother-in-law.
Oh, my.
I'd be willing to bet. and it just, but it is painful. And it's funny because I had this conversation with my father-in-law, who's the complete opposite, the nicest man in the world. Very rarely do I get a chance to be alone with him. And we had a very quick conversation about the relationships. And this is the first time he mentioned it, because she's never negative around me, because I challenge her. But I'm the only one in the family that will.
Or around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm not in the room, it's negative, negative, negative about people, whatever the case may be. And that happened very early on, and you know, I can still remember the restaurant and the whole bit, and I didn't agree with her, and I made her cry at dinner time at this restaurant, and I felt really bad, and then I apologized afterwards, and she said, well, you should. Okay, well, that's the last apology you'll get. And ever since that point, we've never had any issues, because she knows that I won't.
Okay, so this is bringing up a really good point. And this is actually something that I want to cover Monday evening. We'll see, because this week, we've got a structure and a plan, but it can also be fluid, and we're open to that. So the plan, one of the plans on Monday night, is to talk about, what do you do when you go back into your own life? As you change over the next year, how do you handle that? How do you handle the change of friends? How do you handle when people around you don't know what to do with you? And I'm going to give you some help with that, okay? If I don't cover it Monday evening, we'll cover it within the first couple of weeks of
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge to learn, because I mean, it'll drive you absolutely crazy if you don't learn how to. Because I can't expect her to change.
No,
She
that's
needs
not
to, and she should, for her own benefit. But only I can change myself.
Mhm.
I can't expect anybody else to
Yeah.
change. So I have to change myself in order to learn how to
Yeah.
to cooperate and handle my anger.
And it's weird, it just happens, like Ken said, years ago I heard that too. They said your friends are gonna, you know, you just grow apart. I've got friends since I'm 5 years old, numerous ones, and it's true. To this day, I go golfing with 12 of them once a year, meet with them a little bit through the, you know, and it's even hard. The weekend, golf's fine, but once we get back,
Yeah, socialize after
Yeah.
small talk.
yeah, it's like,
It's
wow.
real small.
It's because your context grows, right? And theirs is still down here.
Yep.
So you've got nothing to talk about, and they've got everything to talk about on the news, and everything negative because it's news.
And it doesn't mean you're better than them or anything
No,
like that,
no.
or it's just you're different.
And we'll connect with different people. Ken said he's got friends all over the country. I haven't told Ken this, and so I'm putting him on the spot in some ways. But someone asked me a few months ago, who was it? It might have been one of my kids. They asked me, Daddy, who's your best friend? And I thought about it, and I went, like, I don't think that way usually. I don't think who was my best friend. But I went, okay, so Teresa is my most valued relationship, my wife. And my kids are very valued relationships. But I said, you know what, outside of my family, my most valued relationship by far is Ken. He lives across the country from me. And we just chat all the time. But he's my, what do you want to say, like best friend? I don't know how that looks as an adult, okay? I honestly don't know. But I go, he's my most valuable friend. It's the relationship that I get the most out of. I'm going to share something here. So you want to talk about selfishness, okay? Think about this from a cultural perspective. Ken and I, one of the reasons we are doing this, one of the main reasons we are doing this, is so that we can meet more like-minded people. I'm completely serious about that, okay? Now listen, it's not the only reason. We're bringing value, we're doing other things, right? But I mean, think about it from a selfish perspective. What's more selfish than going, how can we think of a way where we can make money and meet the right people? And the challenge to you guys in that is, I don't think that's selfish. Ken and I are improving our financial situation through this. We're developing business opportunities through this. We are helping others through this. And we're growing ourselves in this. And we're meeting fantastic people. And that's not selfish. Because as we do that, we're going to provide more value for more people. So I'm putting that out there with a little bit of trepidation. Because in one view, in a cultural perspective, that's like the nerve of those guys. And yet for me, it's not, it's seamlessly connected to my desire to help people on this planet. For me, it goes seamlessly with my purpose in life. So.
And I think we can all relate to that, but I'm going to put Charlotte on the spot a little bit, being that you're the only female here. Because typically, women are more social than men. I can live with one or two friends or none. I can do whatever. Right? It is what it is. But women are much more social. And now, have you found that you have become more and more isolated, even more so than, like, do you have a real tight girlfriend that you're close with, or is that sort of even gone?
Not really. Like in school right now, though, there's a girl in class with me, and she's in her mid-30s. I get along really well with her. She's different than the rest too. Like her and I really obviously really don't like hanging around women.